Good morning, everybody. I am inside my car. It's the end of the day. I recorded my short little video for the shut down the government thing, and I had it in my mind that I recorded tomorrow's video, and I didn't. So this is in the evening. I have a sunset coming up. It's not a beautiful one because there's not enough clouds, but it's at the end of the day. The wind is blowing. There's a cold front coming through. So I'm in my car. I really don't have any place. I can go inside the tent, but my tarp's been just flopping around. It's too noisy, so I'm in here. Anyhow, for this last 5 days of Christmas, today's the 20th, so tomorrow will be the 21st. It's all about family. We're going to start off with God and his family. Now, he's got people. He's not alone. He's got people in heaven. He's got angels, and they worship him and they sing songs, and he's not alone. But yet, he felt the need to create man. And he did. He created Adam. And Adam was cool on the earth for a little while, but God wasn't down here all the time. I don't know how he walked in the Garden of Eden with him. More than likely, the Garden of Eden is not on earth. Not physically. There's multiple levels of heaven, so it's probably one of those. Nobody knows for sure. In any case, however he walked with him, he didn't, he's got a universe to run, so he couldn't spend all of his time down here. And he said that it was not right for him to be alone, so he created him a wife, Eve. There's an incorrect translation in the Bible where it talks about taking a rib out. It's more like a rib cage. It's like half of the rib cage. It's more half and half as opposed to a small piece of this human to make a woman. No, it's more splitting him in half and making a duplicate. We're supposed to be partners. It's not the male over the female. We're supposed to be partners like God is supposed to be partners with us. So anyhow, he created two people. When they sinned, their earthly bodies then became the mother and father of all that we know. We're all related to Adam and Eve. Everybody. Doesn't matter what religion, where you're from, what part of the country, what country, we're all related to Adam and Eve. Now, whether or not that branch goes, we know it's going to go all the way up until the point of Noah, and then we're all related to Noah. They pride themselves in Israel about being, of David, of Abraham, or whatever. And there's multiple ways that can branch, and we may or may not be part of that. Some people can trace their lineage back, and it's important that they can in Israel. But for the rest of the world, we don't really need to worry about that because we've been adopted. There are a lot of human adopted people on this earth. We don't know, for a long time people don't know who their real mother, their biological mother and father are, but they survive because they have a real parent who's going to take the time to raise them correctly in most cases. Nevertheless, this is all we really know down here because we've been separated from God, but we're in his family tree. As Christians, we've been adopted, and we're going to go live with him eventually. He's going to prepare a place for us, and we'll be up there. And it's not, a whole bunch of little Dolly Parton mansions. She lives in a little house, actually, but, Barbra Streisand mansions. Or I like the mansion in Iron Man, the one on the coast. I think that's Barbra Streisand's land, and there is no house there. But That's what I picture, my mansion. You might picture yours as a colonial, pillars in the front, but that's a bad translation. He's gone to add a room on his father's house, which is what a Galilean would have done. They didn't go build new homes every time there was a family. They added on to their parents' home, and they all lived together as one family. They never really separated. The prodigal son story is an aborigine. It's not a normal situation. That's why when he came back, there was a party. Because we're all supposed to, in our family, live together. The Jews, because of the law given to them by Moses, had rules that said if you couldn't make your payments and you had to sell your property, whatever it is, after so many years, you get it back. Now, you may not get to have it for most of your lifetime, but you get it back. So the family maintains their possessions. You can buy it back at certain points, but you get it back without buying it back at the end, the Jubilee year. Any case, it's all about family. So we start off with God's family first. We are in his family. He wants to please us. We are, I don't care how old you are, I'm 70, I'm still a child to God, because God's a lot older than I am. If they were around in the beginning, and Jesus was around then too, the spirit that was in Jesus was around then too, designing the universe, they've been around a long time. They're old. We're children, there's nothing we can do to change that. And he looks at us as children. He treats us as children often. Now, he'd like to be able to walk side by side and treat us like an adult, but a lot of times we don't let him. Worst case scenario is we're children. And he wants to protect the children. And Jesus talked about that. He said, it's better off to have a millstone put around your neck and thrown into the river than mistreat children. And there are people mistreating children in our world today, every day. In the country that I live in, they're doing that. One, they've allowed abortions. The heartbeat, after, I think they said 22 days, there's a heartbeat. That's life. By any other definition, that's life. If you found an embryo 22 days old on another planet, you declare you found life on another planet. So, when you kill it, you're killing a human life. Don't do it. There are other options. First off, behave yourself and don't get pregnant. But I understand that can happen. That's not the case, where you can just go in and just take a pill or go to a doctor and reverse something bad you did. Put the child up for adoption. There's not enough adopted children out there. Like I said, we're all adopted into God's family. You can adopt your child as opposed to aborting it. Don't make the mistake in the first place. But since that seems to be the way of life, find other alternatives. I hope the new administration takes Planned Parenthood and shoves them 6 feet under the ground, because they're not Planned Parenthood. They're planned abortion. That's what they plan for. They don't teach you how to live with a child. They don't teach you how to adopt a child. They teach you how to abort a child. And that is not what they were designed for. Satan has corrupted their original intent. So they either need to fix their agenda or stop treating people. And if they can't fix it, bury them. Okay, we're family. God treats us as family, which means we can go to him and say, Abba, Father, I would like to have this new toy. I would like to have this new doll. I'd like to have this new airplane or truck or whatever you want. Ask him for it. Now, he may say, well, okay, I'll give you this, but I need you to do a paper route, or I need you to do something to help pay for it, to justify it. I'm putting this in earthly terms, but there may be some ties to it, depending on what it is. Asking for food on your plate when you have none, there may not be any ties to that at all, as long as you're not living in sin. If you're just doing what normal people do and sin occasionally, God's happy to help you. If you're living in sin, he wants you to correct that. It's family. If we had family and they were doing drugs on a regular basis and there was no life to them, they didn't do anything, they just lied around all day and did drugs, we would want to do an intervention. Well, God does too, to us, when we sin. God will do an intervention. He'll send somebody over. How and when, we don't know. That's his business. But he will try to help us, just like we would try to help our children. And our children may fight it. We may fight it when he tries to help us. But he's stronger and smarter, so he can do it the right way where we struggle. We're family, and he wants us to be united. And he wants us to be a loving family. We're all part of this world that he created. Now, it's been distorted. And because it's been distorted and Satan's responsible for it, he's going to do away with Satan, and we're going to get a new heaven and earth that Satan hasn't corrupted. That's coming. He's going to tear down the old building, the old drug building that's been used, for druggies for years because nobody's lived in it. The city will come in and destroy it and then put the land up for sale, and somebody can come back in and build on it. As long as they're going to take care of it and live with it. You want good communities. And that's what God wants. He wants us to live together in harmony, not living as a Christian in harmony with other religions. No. We're still the leader. Christ is the only way to heaven. Now, we can be friendly with anybody, but we can't go in and say, well, if you're a Muslim, you can sit here and do your Muslim stuff right in front of me while I'm trying to do my Christian stuff. No. Christ is the only way. Now, if you want to do your Muslim stuff over there where it doesn't bother me, that's okay. But your idea that it's only the Muslim religion and everybody else needs to die, I'm sorry. You need to point that gun at yourself, because that's where you need to be. You need to go talk to your God and find out where you're wrong. Jesus is the only way. Even Muhammad talked about Jesus being a good person, and yet you want to kill people in Muhammad's name. There were times, even in the Bible, where they were told to kill people. These are one-off things that God talked to the people about at certain times. But it's not a repetition everywhere they go. When they got to the Promised Land, they were simply to defend it. They weren't to continue going around the world, killing everybody on the world that didn't believe it. That's not the Christian or the Jewish religion. They were just simply moving to their Promised Land. And if there were people there, they had to be eliminated, because they were into pagan religions. Baal or Baal, however you want to pronounce it. And these people had human sacrifices. These were bad religions. And we still have bad religions. If you think you can kill somebody rightly by your religion, it's just as bad as Baal. Family. We need to be under God, one God, united together with Jesus as our leader. Because we can't be, no religion in the world can be with God without Jesus. Because Jesus paid the price to reconnect us back to God. Without it, you can't have that connection. You can have your God. He may or may not respond to you because you need Jesus. All right. I think I've reached my limit. I don't want to go over. I want to keep them at 15 minutes because I want you to spend time with your family. Clean up your work, get it all done, but spend time with your family this week. Reconnect. Get together with people, apologize to people that you maybe have pushed aside. Family. That's the important part. God, and then horizontal out. Your immediate family. I don't have a lot of immediate family. There's nobody older than me in my generation, in my family tree, I guess. I've got some nieces and nephews. I've got my kids, but I don't have anyone older than me. It's an interesting feeling. I've always got God. But we do need somebody down here. That's why he created Eve. So you need family down here. Now, if you got evil family members and they're just plain evil, try to reach out to them, invite them if you want, but you may not be able to do anything. That's God's realm. If they're so far gone, God is the one that's the only one that can pull them back. But if you got something that you're just slightly, you haven't talked to them for a few years only because you had a fight 20 years ago and you don't even remember what it's about, call them up. Make arrangements. All right, until we meet in the clouds. God bless. The sun's beginning to set. I'm inside my car because I'm going to record my video here. The wind is it's not calm. The trees up on the top are really waving back and forth. You can probably see it in the video on the right there. The tarp, I had to take the poles out that were holding it up and tie it down to the ground. We were getting some pretty good gusts here a little while ago. I'm assuming the storm front will be through, but it's cold. It's going to be 30 degrees in the morning. Don't worry, my tent's warm, but it's cold to get out. You have to wait till it warms up to do things in the park. Anyway, have a blessed day, everybody.